Hello and welcome to the Prelims PYQ analysis series of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be covering the part 2 of the Science and Technology PYQs from the year 2019 to 2024. So basically we are done with the first part of it. So if you haven't watched the first part till now, you can go on to the playlist section of Drishti IAS English and watch the part 1. And apart from the Science and Technology part 1 episode, all other PYQs also that we have covered consists of history, polity, economy, geography. So you can go for those also. Before moving forward, let me just tell you that if you want the PDF of this episode or this series, then the link for that is given in the description box, and also there is a question which is pinned in the comment section for all of you to answer. So let's move forward now. So the first question is that aerial metagenomics best refers to which one of the following situations? Collecting DNA samples from air in a habitat at one go, understanding the genetic makeup of avian species of a habitat. Third, using airborne devices to collect blood samples from moving animals. Or fourth, sending drones to inaccessible areas to collect plant and animal samples from land surfaces and water bodies. So the correct answer for this is option A, that is collecting DNA samples from air in a habitat at one go. So if we talk about the metagenomics, so metagenomics is the study of the structure and function of entire nucleotide sequences. Metagenomics is the study of the structure and functions of the entire nucleotide sequences isolated and analyzed from all the organisms in a bulk sample. So all the organisms in a bulk sample. Then metagenomics is often used to study a specific community of microorganisms such as those residing on human skin, in the soil, or in a water sample. Then aerial metagenomics, if we talk about, till now we were talking about the metagenomics and now we will be talking about the aerial metagenomics. So aerial metagenomics is a scientific field that involves studying the genetic material present in the air. Genetic material which is present in the air, specifically the DNA and RNA of microorganisms suspended in the atmosphere. So microorganisms DNA and RNA which is in the atmosphere. Therefore option A is correct answer. Next, microsatellite DNA. So microsatellite DNA is used in the case of which one of the following? So there are four options given. Studying the evolutionary relationships among various species of fauna. Second, stimulating stem cells to transform into diverse functional tissues. Third, promoting colonial propagation of horticultural plants. And fourth, assessing the efficacy of drugs by conducting series of drug trials in a population. So the correct answer for this is option A, that is microsatellite DNA. The correct answer is studying the evolutionary relationships among various species of fauna. So together if we will say, then flora and fauna are the two words which always goes together, but this talks about only the fauna aspect of it. So microsatellite DNA, it is also known as the short tandem repeats. STR, short tandem repeats, is one of the best suitable genetic markers for analyzing pedigree, population structure, genome variation, evolutionary process and fingerprinting purposes. So the correct answer is option A. Next is, before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with a IAS prelims course for 2025. This is for general science. Few of the features is 400 plus hours of classes, unlimited view time, prelims test series, and this is an English medium. So in case of any query, give us a call at 87501 and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. So next is, with reference to the role of biofilters in recirculating aquaculture system, consider the following statements. So there are two statements given. First is, biofilters provide waste treatment by removing uneaten fish feed. Second is, biofilters convert ammonia present in fish waste to nitrate. And third is, the biofilters increase phosphorus as nutrient for fish in water. Phosphorus. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none. So the correct answer is option B. Option B says only two. So out of these three, only two are correct. So biofilters in recirculating aquaculture system, if we talk about, then what does it do? It acts to remove nitrogenous waste byproducts generated by fish protein catabolism and oxidation processes. So whatever the fish catabolism, the fish protein catabolism and also the oxidation process, the byproducts which are generated from it, it removes it. So biofilter actually filters it. Then ammonia is removed from an aquarium system through the use of a biofilter, and the biofilter also provides a substrate on which nitrifying bacteria grow. These nitrifying bacteria consume ammonia and produce nitrite. Which is also toxic to fish. So second also becomes correct. Third is the biofilter system reduces the concentration of nitrite, nitrate, phosphorus and ammonium ions from the synthetic water. And it talks about biofilters increases. No, it does not increases, it decreases the content of phosphorus. Next, consider the following statements. DNA barcoding can be a tool too. So this is the statement, that is DNA barcoding can be a tool too. There are three statements given. First, access the age of a plant or animal. Second, distinguish among species that look alike. And third, that is identify undesirable animal or plant materials in processed foods. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 3 only, 1 and 2, 2 and 3. So the correct answer for this is option D, that is 2 and 3. So second and third is correct, first is wrong. The novel technique of identifying biological specimens using short DNA sequences from nuclear or organelle genomes is called DNA barcoding. Name itself is saying barcoding. It means it does not talk about the complete DNA. It is talking about a short DNA sequences. Then DNA barcoding has many applications in various fields like preserving natural resources, protecting endangered species, controlling agricultural pests, access the age of plant or animal, identifying disease vectors and many others. Applications can be asked in many other forms also. So directly also in the question the applications can be asked, that which among the following are the applications of DNA barcoding. Then species identification of endangered wildlife and disease vectors in food items are just a few areas in which DNA barcoding is useful. Therefore 2 and 3 are correct and first is not correct. So distinguish among species that look alike, of course DNA is used for that. Then identify undesirable animal or plant materials in processed foods. Access the age of a plant or animal. No. Next, consider the following statements. There are three statements given. First, biofilms can form on medical implants within human tissues. Second, biofilms can form on food and food processing surfaces. And third, biofilms can exhibit antibiotic resistance. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So these are the three statements. Correct answer for this is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. It means all three are correct. For biofilms, all three statements are correct. It talks about that what is a biofilm. Biofilm are a collective of one or more type of microorganisms. So when microorganisms are coming together, that is they can be of single type or they can be of multiple types that can grow on many different surfaces. Microorganisms that form biofilms include bacteria, fungi and protists. Then in medicine, biofilms form on medical implants and within human tissues as in cystic fibrosis. So they can medical implants, when we talk about, and within human tissues they can also form. Then biofilms protect their inhabitants from various adverse environmental conditions including biocides and antibiotics. Then biofilm formation confers many advantages to the microbial cells in a food industry environment, such as physical resistance, mechanical resistance, chemical resistance. So second also becomes correct. And the third statement talks about that microbial cells within biofilms have shown 10 to 1000 times more antibiotic resistance than the planktonic cells. So third also becomes correct. It talks about biofilms can exhibit antibiotic resistance. Yes. Second, biofilms can form on food and food processing surfaces. We just saw. Yes. Biofilms can form on medical implants within human tissues. Yes. All three becomes correct. Next. In the context of vaccines manufactured to prevent COVID-19 pandemic, consider the following statements. There are three statements given. First, the Serum Institute of India produced COVID-19 vaccine named Covishield using mRNA platform. Second, Sputnik 5 vaccine is manufactured using vector-based platform. And third is the Covaxin is an inactivated pathogen-based vaccine. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. So, the correct answer for this is option B, that is 2 and 3. So, 2 and 3 is correct, first is wrong. So, let us see this. So, first of all, if we talk about the Covishield vaccine, so Covishield vaccine has not been produced. The word production here is important. The Covishield vaccine has not been produced by the Serum Institute of India. So, it is a version of the vaccine which is developed by the University of Oxford in collaboration with the Swedish-British drug maker, that is AstraZeneca. And Serum Institute of India is the manufacturing partner of it in India. So, whatever production has been done by some other company and Serum Institute of India is the manufacturing partner. Then Sputnik 5 is the world's first registered vaccine. World's first registered vaccine which is based on a well-studied human adenovirus vector platform. The vaccine is named after the first Soviet space satellite. Therefore, second also becomes correct because it talks about Sputnik 5 vaccine is manufactured using vector-based platforms. Correct. Then third is about the Covaxin. So, Covaxin is an inactivated viral vaccine developed with whole viron inactivated viro cell derived technology. These contain inactivated viruses. So, inactivated viruses are present under it which cannot infect a person but still can teach the immune system to prepare a defense mechanism. So, it says Covaxin is an inactivated pathogen based vaccine. So, that is also correct. With reference to recent developments regarding recombinant vector vaccines, consider the following statements. There are two statements given. First, genetic engineering is applied in the development of these vaccines. And second is, bacteria and viruses are used as vectors. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Correct answer for this is option C, both 1 and 2. It means both the statements are correct. First is about genetic engineering, second is bacteria and viruses. So, if we talk about the recombinant vector vaccines, then they are made through the process of genetic engineering, and then the gene that creates the protein for a bacteria or virus is isolated and placed inside another cell genes. So, if this is a gene and it creates a protein for a bacteria and a virus, then that gene is isolated and then it is placed under the cell gene of some other cell. Then that cell reproduces, it produces vaccine proteins. That mean the immune system will recognize the protein and protect the body against it. So, protection of the body can be done. Therefore, first statement is correct. Now, coming to the second statement, it talks about that the live recombinant bacteria or viral vectors, it effectively stimulate the immune system as in natural infections and have intrinsic adjuvant properties. They are used as the channel for the entry into the host organisms. Several bacteria have been used as vectors. So, there are different bacteria which have been used as vectors in this process, and there are many examples of that also, like Salmonella, SPP, then Shigella, then Mycobacterium bovis. So, second statement also becomes true. It talks about bacteria and viruses are used as vectors. Correct. Second, first is genetic engineering is applied in the development of these vaccines. Very obvious. Without genetic engineering, this will not be able to be done. Now, next, that is Bollgard 1 and Bolgard 2 technologies are mentioned in the context of what? So there are 4 statements given. First, colonial propagation of crop plants. Second, developing genetically modified crop plants. Then comes third, that is production of plant growth substances. Then fourth, that is production of biofertilizers. So the correct answer for this is option B, that is developing genetically modified crop plants. So its explanation talks about that if we talk about Bolgard 1 BT cotton, which is a single gene technology, is the first biotech crop technology which was approved for commercialization in India in the year 2002, followed by Bolgard 2, which was a double gene technology. So Bolgard 1 was single gene, Bolgard 2 was double gene technology, and this came during the year 2006. So after 4 years of Bolgard 1. By the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, the Indian regulatory body for biotech crops. So regulatory body name is GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Then Bolgard 1 cotton is an insect resistant transgenic crop. This is designed to combat the bollworms. So bollworms can be controlled by it. It was created by genetically altering the cotton genome to express a microbial protein from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis. So Bacillus thuringiensis, and about the GEAC, about Bolgard or genetically modified crops, questions can be asked and is asked many times. Before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with a IAS GS foundation course. So if you are preparing for UPSC and is looking for both mains and prelims preparation, then this is the right opportunity for you. Few of the features include 1000 plus hours of classes, unlimited view time, prelims test series, and the medium for this is English. So in case of any query, give us a call at 87501 and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Next is consider the following. So that is bacteria, fungi and virus. Which of the above can be cultured in an artificial synthetic medium? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? So the correct answer for this is option A, that is 1 and 2. So bacteria and fungi, virus cannot be cultured artificially. So if we talk about the artificial or synthetic media, then that is prepared by adding nutrients, and that nutrient consists of both organic and inorganic nutrients like vitamin salts, O2, CO2 gas phases, serum proteins, carbohydrates and cofactors. Then bacteria and fungi can be cultured in artificial synthetic medium, whereas the problem with virus is that it requires a living host cell for replication. It cannot replicate on its own. It needs to go into a host cell for replication. Then infected host cells can be cultured and grown, and then the growth medium can be harvested as a source of the virus. Therefore, first and 2 both are correct, and virus, that is the third one, is incorrect. Next question, that is in the context of recent advances in human reproductive technology, pro-nuclear transfer is used for. So this term pro-nuclear transfer, it is used for what? First, fertilization of egg in vitro by the donor sperm. Second, genetic modification of sperm producing cells. Third, development of stem cells into functional embryos. Or fourth, prevention of mitochondrial diseases in offspring. Correct answer is option D, that is prevention of mitochondrial diseases in offspring. So if we talk about the mitochondrial diseases, so mitochondria is basically called the powerhouse of the body. So it provides energy and power to the human body. Then if we talk about the pro-nuclear transfer, so it involves the transfer of pro-nuclei from one zygote to another. So if this is one zygote, this is another zygote, it provides the pro-nuclear transfer from one to another. This technique first requires fertilization of healthy donated egg with the intended male parent sperm. So this basically requires fertilization of egg, and egg fertilization can be done by the sperm. Then simultaneously the intended mother's affected oocyte are fertilized with the intending father's sperm by using a technique called maternal spindle transfer, the maternal DNA is put into the egg of a donor woman. So if this is the maternal DNA and then there is a donor woman, then the spindle transfer from the maternal DNA is done into the donor woman, which is then fertilized using the father's sperm. So the fertilization is done into the donor women. Then the procedure was developed to help existing in vitro fertilization treatments in which mothers have mitochondrial diseases. Then mutations in maternal DNA are a cause of mitochondrial disease. So out of all these, prevention of mitochondrial diseases in offspring is the correct answer for the pronuclear transfer. Next, consider the following statements. So there are three statements given. Let us see. First, genetic changes can be introduced in the cells that produce eggs or sperms of a prospective parent. Second, a person's genome can be edited before birth at the early embryonic stage. Third, human-induced pluripotent stem cells can be injected into the embryo of a pig. Then, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 2 only, 1, 2 and 3. Correct answer is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. It means all 3 are correct. Let us see. So if we talk about the germline gene therapy, then it is the replacement of genes in eggs or sperm cells with which an offspring inherits a new trait. So basically there is a replacement of genes which is taking place in the sperm or the egg. Then it allows for the correction of disease causing gene variants that are certain to be passed down from one generation to another generation. So if it is passing from the one generation to the other generation, then the correction of disease causing gene variants is done by it. So first becomes correct, that is genetic changes can be introduced in the cells that produce eggs or sperms of a prospective parent. Next, that is CRISPR technology is employed to modify human embryos before they are transferred into woman's uterus. So a person's genome can be edited before birth at the early embryonic stage. So this can be done using the CRISPR technology. Third is, due to certain anatomical and physiological features shared with humans, the pig is considered an important animal model of human diseases with unique advantages in surgery and xenotransplantation studies. So this is basically due to anatomical and physiological features of pig. So third also becomes correct. So the next question is that what is the importance of using pneumococcal conjugate vaccines in India? So there are three statements given. First is, these vaccines are effective against pneumonia as well as meningitis and sepsis. Second, dependence on antibiotics that are not effective against drug resistant bacteria can be reduced. Third, these vaccines have no side effects and cause no allergic reactions. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. So let us see this. Pneumococcal conjugate vaccines. Correct answer is option B, that is 1 and 2 only. So first is correct, second is correct, third is incorrect. So first is, if we talk about the pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, so it prevents pneumococcal diseases, and pneumococcal disease refers to any illness which is caused by pneumococcal bacteria. So any illness which is caused by the pneumococcal bacteria, and Streptococcus pneumonia is a leading cause of bacterial pneumonia, meningitis and sepsis in children. Then if we talk about the PCVs, could potentially prevent a substantial portion of episodes of bacteremic diseases, pneumonia, meningitis, sepsis and otis media, especially in young children. So these vaccines are effective against pneumonia as well as meningitis and sepsis. This becomes correct. Then the growing resistance of pneumococcal bacteria to commonly used antibiotics underlines the urgent need for vaccines to be used to control pneumococcal disease, and this prevents antibiotic resistance infections also. So dependence on antibiotics that are not effective against drug resistant bacteria can be reduced. Then and this has side effects also in the form of redness, swelling, pain or tenderness. So these vaccines have no side effects and cause no allergic reaction becomes wrong. So first and second is correct, third is incorrect. Next is, what is Cas9 protein that is often mentioned in news? So the four different options are a molecular scissor used in targeted gene editing, a biosensor used in the accurate detection of pathogens in patients, a gene that makes plants pest resistant, or fourth, a herbicidal substance synthesized in genetically modified crops. So the correct answer for this is option A, that is a molecular scissor used in targeted gene editing. Now what is Cas9 protein? Let us see. So if we talk about the CRISPR-Cas9, that is a unique technology that enables geneticists and medical researchers to edit parts of the genome by removing, adding or altering sections of the DNA sequence. So DNA sequence sections can be removed, added or altered. Then if we talk about the CRISPR, so CRISPR is an acronym for clustered, regularly interspaced, short, palindromic repeats. Then Cas9 is basically an enzyme and it is used, that is like a pair of scissors, to cut two strands of DNA at a specific location to add, remove or repair bits of DNA. So basically it is a scissor which is used in targeted gene editing. Next is, RNA interference technology has gained popularity in the last few years. Why? So why has the RNA interference technology gained popularity? There are four statements given, that is, it is used in developing gene silencing therapies. Second is, it can be used in developing therapies for the treatment of cancer. Third is, it can be used to develop hormone replacement therapies. And fourth is, it can be used to produce crop plants that are resistant to viral pathogens. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 4 only. Correct answer is option A, that is 1, 2 and 4. So first, second and fourth is correct. Then it can be used to develop hormone replacement therapy is wrong. Let us see this. So if we will talk about the RNA mediated interference, then it is a simple and rapid method of silencing gene expression in a range of organisms, and the silencing of a gene is a consequence of degradation of RNA into short RNAs that activate ribonuclease to target homologous mRNA. So first becomes correct. RNA is being explored as a form of treatment for variety of diseases. So variety of diseases can be treated by it, like for example hepatitis, AIDS, cancer. So second also becomes correct. Third is, RNA cannot be used to develop hormone replacement therapy. So hormone replacement therapies cannot be produced using the RNA mediated interference technology. Then RNAi has provided a way to control pests and diseases, introduce novel plant traits and increase crop yield. So it is used in developing gene silencing therapies, correct. It can be used in developing therapies for the treatment of cancer is also correct. It can be used to develop hormone replacement therapies, no. Can be used to produce crop plants that are resistant to viral pathogens, correct. Next, before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS prelims test series for the year 2025. Few of the key features include comprehensive coverage, subject wise evaluation, detailed explanation. So if you want to prepare for the 2025 exams and is given the upcoming prelims, then this would be the right opportunity for you to see that how exam ready you are in the form of a test series. So for more information, give us a call at 87501 and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Next is, with reference to Web 3.0, consider the following statements, and there are three statements given. First, Web 3.0 technology enables people to control their own data. Second, in Web 3.0 world, there can be blockchain based social networks. And third, Web 3.0 is operated by users collectively rather than a corporation. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer for this is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. It means all 3 is correct. Let us see the explanation. So if we talk about the Web 3.0, then it is a decentralized internet to be run on blockchain technology. So the technology which is being used is the blockchain technology, which would be different from the versions in use, that is 1 and 2. So Web 3.0 technology enables people to control their own data. Then Web 3.0 world, there can be blockchain based social networks. That is correct. It will deliver a decentralized and fair internet where users control their own data. So first also becomes correct. Then with blockchain, the time and place of the transaction are recorded permanently. Thus Web 3.0 enables peer-to-peer transactions by eliminating the role of intermediary, as it can be done directly, so intermediary is not required in between the transactions. So all 3 are correct. Next, with reference to software as a service, that is SaaS, consider the following statements. There are 3 statements given. First, SaaS buyers can customize the user interface and can change data fields. Second is, SaaS users can access their data through their mobile devices. Third is, Outlook, Hotmail and Yahoo mails are forms of SaaS. Which of the statements given above are correct? So which is correct? Option D, that is all 3. All 3 are correct. Let us see the explanation. So if we talk about the software as a service, that is SaaS, then that is a method of software delivery that allows data to be accessed from any device with an internet connection and a web browser. That is, from any device, the software as a service can be accessed. So second becomes correct. So what was second statement? SaaS users can access their data through their mobile devices. Then in the web-based model, if we talk about, then software vendors host and maintain the servers, databases and the code that makes up an application. Users can customize the user interface and change data fields. So first is also correct, that is SaaS buyers can customize the user interface and can change data fields. So first is also correct. Then if we will talk about the third statement, so that is the common form of SaaS use is a web-based email service such as Outlook, Hotmail or Yahoo. So Outlook, Hotmail and Yahoo mails are forms of SaaS. Yes, all 3 are correct. Next. So next question is, which one of the following is the context in which the term qubit is mentioned? Very, very famous. Always you will see it in news. Cloud services, quantum computing, visible light communication technologies or wireless communication technologies. Correct answer is option B, quantum computing. So the quantum in quantum computing refers to the smallest possible discrete unit of atomic or subatomic particles. So atomic and subatomic particles, smallest unit is known as a qubit. Like for example, electrons, neutrinos and photons. A qubit is the basic unit of information in quantum computing. So quantum computing, the information which is shared, so the basic unit of it is a qubit. Next is, consider the following communication technologies. So there are 3 technologies given, that is first, closed circuit television, second is the radio frequency identification and third is the wireless local area network. Then which of the above are considered short range devices or technologies? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? Correct answer is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. It means all 3 are correct. So this is with regard to the short range devices or technologies. Let's see the explanation. So if we talk about the short range technologies, it offer a low risk of interference with other radio services. So short range technology interference is very, very less, and usually because their transmitted power and hence their range is low. So range and power is also very low. Examples of devices using this technology include access control, alarms and movement detectors, Second is closed circuit television, cordless audio devices including wireless microphones, local area network, remote control, radio frequency identification. So if we will talk about short range devices technologies, that is closed circuit television, yes. RFID, that is radio frequency identification, yes. Then wireless local area network, yes. So basically the range and power is low in this. Now coming on to the next question. So this talks about, with reference to visible light communication technology, which of the following statements are correct? So there are 4 statements given. First, VLC uses electromagnetic spectrum wavelength 375 to 780 nm. Second is VLC is known as long range optical wireless communication. Third, VLC can transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. Or fourth, VLC has no electromagnetic interference. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 4 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, 2, 3 and 4 only. Correct answer is option C, that is 1, 3 and 4. So first is correct, third is correct, fourth is correct, second is incorrect. So let us see. So visible light communication systems, it employs visible light for communication and that occupy the electromagnetic spectrum from 375 nm to 780 nm. So statement 1 is correct. Next is VLC is known as short range optical wireless communication. Therefore statement 2 is incorrect. So and the statement says VLC is known as long range optical wireless communication. Last question also we saw it is a short range wireless communication. So second is wrong, it is not long range, it is short range. Then VLC can transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. So that is also correct. VLC has no electromagnetic interference. So VLC uses electromagnetic spectrum wave. This was correct. VLC can transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. Correct. Then VLC has no electromagnetic interference. That also we just saw. So that is also correct. Next question. With reference to blockchain technology, consider the following statements. So blockchain technology, what does it say about it? So there are 3 statements given. First, it is a public ledger. So it is a public ledger that everyone can inspect but which no single user controls. Second is the structure and design of blockchain is such that all the data in it are about cryptocurrency only. Third is applications that depend on basic features of blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 only and 1 and 3 only. Correct answer is option D, that is 1 and 3 only. So first is correct, third is correct, second is incorrect. So second one is incorrect. It says blockchain is a form of public ledger, that is correct, which is a series or chain of blocks on which transaction details are recorded and stored in a public database after suitable authentication and verification by the designated network participants. And a public ledger can be viewed but cannot be controlled by any single user. So this says that it is a public ledger that everyone can inspect but which no single user controls. So that is correct. People can see it but control of it is not in any one person's hand. Then the blockchain is not only about the cryptocurrency, but it turns out that blockchain is actually a pretty reliable way of storing data about other type of transactions as well. It is not restricted only to the blockchain. Second statement talks about that the structure and design of blockchain is such that all the data in it are about cryptocurrency only. No, this is wrong. Other type of data can also be stored. Then although cryptocurrency is regulated and needs approval of the central authorities, blockchain technology is not only about cryptocurrency. It can have various uses and applications based on basic features of the technology. It can be developed without anybody's approval. So applications that depend on basic features of blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission. So this also becomes correct, third one. So first and third are correct, second is wrong. So next is, before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS Prelims GS plus CSAT online course. So if you want to prepare from the comfort of your home, then this is the right opportunity for you. Few of the features are 500 plus hours of classes, watch unlimited time, 30 free test, and this free test will consist of both GS and CSAT. So in case of any query, give us a call at 87501 and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Next question is, with reference to communication technologies, what is or are the difference between the LTE, that is long term evolution, and the VoLTE, that is the voice over long term evolution? First is, LTE is commonly marketed as 3G and VoLT is commonly marketed as advanced 3G. LTE is data only technology and VoLT is voice only technology. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. It means both are incorrect. Let us see. So if we talk about the LTE, that is the long term evolution. So it is a 4th generation wireless standard. It is not 3rd generation, it is 4th generation. This provides increased network capacity and speed for cell phones and other cellular devices as compared to the 3rd generation technology. 4G is just a common name which is given to LTE technology. Then VoLT is a technology that allows phone dialer to place calls through internet and send voice and data over the network simultaneously without diminishing quality of voice. So LTE is data only technology and VoLT is voice only technology. This is wrong. And first is also wrong because LTE is 4th generation. Next is, consider the following statements. A digital signature is. There are 3 statements given with regard to it. So a digital signature is an electronic record that identifies the certifying authority issuing it. Second, it is used to serve as a proof of identity of an individual to access information or server on internet. Third is an electronic method of signing an electronic document and ensuring that the original content is unchanged. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer for this is option C, that is 3 only. So first is wrong, second is wrong, third is correct. So only third statement is correct. Let us see it. So digital signature is not a record. So it is not a record. It is an identification of certifying authority is ascertained from the digital certificate, not digital signature. So it is an electronic record that identifies the certifying authority issuing it. So this is wrong. It is not a record. A digital signature is used to authenticate the identity of the sender of a message or the signer of a document and not to serve as a proof of user's authenticity to access a website or information on the internet. It is used as a proof of identity. No. So digital signature is not a proof of identity. So second also becomes wrong. A digital signature is an electronic form of signature that allows the recipient to trust the fact that a known sender sent the message and it was not altered in transit. So third is correct. So it is a digital form of signature. So third becomes correct. So out of all 3, first is wrong, second is wrong, only the third one is correct. So the correct answer becomes option C. So this was the last question with regard to the science and technology PYQs. As we close down on the science and technology PYQ, let me just tell you, for the PDF of this episode and all the episodes, the link is provided in the description box. So you can go and download the PDF of these episodes from the Telegram channel. And then coming on to the comment section, there is a question pinned for you in the comment section. So you can go and give the answer of that question in the comment section. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.